And this is the most significant bipartisan deal on immigration and border security in over a decade. But House Speaker Mike Johnson is making it clear it is not going anywhere. This is a massive package, $118 billion. That includes $20 billion for border security, sweeping immigration restrictions, including shutting down the border when migrant encounters reach 5,000 a day, and making it more difficult to claim asylum in the U.S. $60 billion for Ukraine, $14 billion for Israel. The president calling it the toughest and fairest set of border reforms in decades. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell saying it provides direct and immediate solutions to the crisis at our southern border. But this faced Republican opposition over in the House before it was even released. Donald Trump, who has been urging Republicans to reject this issue, wants to run on immigration in November. And House Speaker Mike Johnson making it clear that this bill is dead on arrival, saying it's worse than they had predicted or expected. It won't even get a vote in the House yet.
We're at a turning point in America. This bill is crucial, and history will look back on it and say, did America fail itself? Why is it crucial? Well, if we don't aid Ukraine, Putin will walk all over Ukraine. We will lose the war, and we could be fighting in Eastern Europe in a NATO ally in a few years. Americans won't like that.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for Yellowhammer Now. It is time to talk about this border bill that apparently is a bipartisan measure that deals with every issue America has ever faced. You see, the big issue here with the border, as Chuck Schumer and his dutiful scribes in the media tell us, is Ukraine. Yeah, if we don't secure America's border, Russia will walk straight through Ukraine and into Berlin, and we'll have to fight them there. Of course, that means we should send them $60 billion and then another $10 billion to pay for their retirement plans and things of that nature. So that goes to Ukraine. We need to spend about $5 billion in Taiwan. And then we have to spend an additional $14 billion in Israel. And then $10 billion on top of that in the Gaza Strip. So they can then have Hamas steal that money to use it to fight a war with Israel. So in that one, we're paying for both sides, which makes absolutely no sense. But that's exactly what we're doing. At least that's what the Biden administration and guys like Chuck Schumer would have you believe. But it's just not the case. It's a stupid bill that does nothing to actually stop what's going on at the southern border. The idea that Joe Biden is going to sit there and say, oh, well, I will close the border if you pass this bill. That gives me the authority to do so. No, actually, it doesn't. You already have that authority. What this bill does is, in one way, it closes it automatically if we hit certain numbers, but then you can just reopen it whenever you feel like it. So this bill doesn't actually do anything. It is an attempt to get money sent to their favorite projects, which are Ukraine and Israel right now, which, by the way, I support sending money to both of those things, okay? But it shouldn't be done this way. It should be done in a smart way where we actually have a discussion about what it's for and why we're doing it, not tying it all together. We can't have border security in America unless we spend $60 billion in Ukraine. I don't like that. So no, I'm a no on that. And luckily, I'm not the only one. Alabama lawmakers are no's on this as well. All you have to do is look at what they're saying. Tommy Tuberville says, I can't believe this is the border security bill that's been negotiated. This bill destroys American sovereignty. It will weaken immigration laws for decades and handcuff the next president that actually wants to secure our borders and defend our country. This bill has been crafted to solidify the invasion of illegals into the United States of America. I am an immovable no. Now, you may be wondering what he's talking about when he talks about solidify the invasion. It gives $900 million to municipalities and NGOs, non-government entities, and tells them, hey, thanks for taking care of all these illegals. Here's some money for you. Take care of more. That's what it says, which will entice more people to come into the country. Any bill that is enticing these people to come here is not a border security bill. Let's just be clear about that. That's not what it is. It is a bill that these individuals will use in order to entice more people into the country. It's just ridiculous. I'm glad he's an immovable no, but he's not the only one. Robert Adderholt says the Senate border bill is dead on arrival in the House. We have an unprecedented national security crisis at our border. We deserve a secure border, protection from fentanyl traffickers, and communities not overrun by illegals. This bill does not measure up. He's right. He's absolutely correct. And it's unfortunate that more people in the United States Senate do not see it that way. Luckily, dead in the House, I think, is a pretty clear way to see it. Up next, Jerry Carl says the Senate border bill allows 5,000 immigrants a day into our country, and that's just the beginning. That's a fair point. It is just the beginning. And you'll hear a lot of, it doesn't allow these people in. No, we're just allowing them in now. It says after we allow these people in, then we'll shut the border. Instead of shutting the border as they're coming in. It's just incredible that these people are trying to sell this to us. And Jerry Carl's right here. The bill does nothing but reward illegal immigration into the United States. The Senate must pass H.R. 2, and that's the actual border security bill that won't get a hearing in the Senate. Wonder why that is. And wonder why the media doesn't beat up on the Senate for not taking up that bill. It's weird. It's almost like they have an agenda. Strange. Barry Moore says President Biden has the authority to enforce immigration laws already on the book. He also has the authority to close the border at any time. His decision not to take action has led to 8.5 million border encounters and 1.7 million gotaways. And we all know it's actually more than that. But kudos to Barry Moore for making this clear. He could do it today if he wanted to. He just doesn't want to. That's the problem. He doesn't want to do these things. And it has to be said. It absolutely has to be said. And lastly, Gary Palmer says, I cannot believe the Senate actually thinks this bill will secure our border. The poor excuse for a border security bill will continue to incentivize illegal crossings and will not have my support. Again, I think this is the important part of this, all of this, is that this bill does not actually do anything to stop illegal immigration. It does nothing to stop illegal immigration. All it does is say, thank you for bringing these people into the country. Thank you for taking care of them. Here, have some money. It incentivizes more illegal immigration. Joe Biden can do all of the enforcement stuff they claim they want to do right now. And if they did some of that, maybe we could have another conversation about the people who have had to carry the freight on this for a little bit. Because up until now, it was border towns having to carry the freight on it. And now you're watching as places like New York, Chicago, LA, and Denver and other places are upset that they're having to carry the freight. They made this choice. These are the consequences of their actions coming home to roost on them finally, and they don't like it. That's why it's becoming a problem. Well, it looks like you haven't learned your lesson yet. So the pain continues because this bill goes nowhere, and the problem is going to continue. And while the media will try to tell you, oh, that Republicans just want to run on this, that's why they don't want to fix it. They're going to try to make that the reason this bill does not pass. That's not what's going on here. That is a lie. I know the media's lying. It goes without saying. The true story on all of this is much simpler than that. Democrats don't actually want to solve the problem. They just are looking for a way to blame somebody else. And this is it. This is their latest attempt at that. But much like with the economy, where they keep telling you, hey, the economy's great. How come you don't understand this? They're going to try to sell you on the idea that the border is a problem that Republicans have created. No one's going to buy either of those stories. I think people are on to the game that the media can't be trusted.